progress. All right, well, happy Monday. Good to be back. I feel like I haven't been here for a while. Not sure why, but that's just how I feel. Whether it's fact, I don't know. But that's how I feel. I feel like that sums up my generation. I don't know if it's fact, but that's how I feel. Okay, we're going to finish up the laws of charity, and then we're going to move on to the laws of Challah. I'll say a few things about Challah outside before we jump inside. But let's go. You should take care to give charity discreetly. No, we did that already. Okay, you should be careful to give charity to Torah scholars. Yisachar and Zvulun. Anybody who watched the Kinnis HaShluchim last night, which I'm going to assume most of you did not, or you don't even know what I'm talking about. The speech that was given was about Yisachar and Zvulun. Yeah, who are Yisachar and Zvulun besides being the sons of Yaakov, Jacob? They made a partnership together. Yisachar were the Torah scholars, and Zvulun were merchants. They both lived on the coast. And Yisachar said, Zvulun and Yisachar got together, and they said, look, Zvulun said, I don't have time to study Torah because I'm out, I got to do business. And to actualize, and there was nothing wrong with that. In fact, you're going to see the Torah write something very nice about them. To actualize their potential, they had to be involved in business. We have to actualize our potential. If you have a gift in woodworking, for example, you're really good with your hands, and you decide to devote your entire life to just studying Torah, the Torah calls that actually a sin. It's a sin because you have a gift that you could bring people closer to Hashem, and you're not using it out properly. You're not actualizing your greatest potential. So you might say, well, isn't studying Torah the greatest thing you could possibly do? Yes, but doesn't mean not everyone can have Toraso umanaso. Your occupation can't be Torah learning, perhaps. Meaning you can't, your first choice should always be Torah learning, and that should be your passion. But if you have a talent, you have to use it out. So Zvulun said, we have a talent for business. And we're able to support everybody so that they can do what they need to do. But we don't have time to study Torah, and it pained them. So what they did was a shidduch. They went to the two tribes, got together, Yisachar and Zvulun. Yisachar were the Torah scholars. They sat all day and studied Torah. They said, we will, Zvulun said, Yisachar said, if you support us so that we can study Torah the entire day, because we are capable of Teraso Manaso. That is who we are. We will give up half of our portion, so to speak, of whatever reward or whatever we accomplish should be given over to you. We'll be given over to you. If you support us, we'll make a deal, a 50-50. And Hashem loved it. And it's like a example, of how partnerships should be between those that do holy work and those that support holy work. They get an equal share, an equal portion. So, in fact, it even says, how great is your lot, essentially is what it says about Zvulun. How great it is what you do. That they're able to be involved in the world and yet also have a portion in supporting Torah scholars. And that did not preclude them, by the way, or they preclude, I don't know if the precludes are right. It didn't exempt them from studying Torah a little bit in the morning and a little bit in the evening, because that's the minimum amount we have to study. A little bit in the morning and a little bit in the evening. So one has to be especially careful to help the poor Torah scholar in a dignified manner. And if he refuses to accept charity, help him in some sort of business, sell him goods cheaply, buy his goods at a high price. And if the poor scholar is capable of engaging in trade, lend him money to use in a trade. As our sages of blessed memory said, whoever supplies merchandise to a Torah scholar merits to participate in the heavenly yeshiva. And it says, all the prophets' predictions of good fortune were said only of those who provide business opportunities for a Torah scholar and gives his daughter in marriage to a Torah scholar. So any opportunity to support them, whether it's with time, your creativity, of course, with money, but sometimes money is not what they need. A lot of times. It's creativity. It's to be able to assess a situation. I have this problem in the physical world, and I need a way to get beyond it. It doesn't necessarily mean money. You don't always have to throw money at a situation, but a creative idea is sometimes much more valuable. Okay, a person should always avoid taking charity. He should suffer hardship rather than depend on people. And so did our sages of blessed memory command, make your Shabbos like a weekday rather than be dependent upon others. In other words, I wonder what the footnote says. By eating less than the required 3 meals. In other words, lower your means, so to speak, as not to take charity. Even if an honored scholar becomes impoverished, he should find some occupation, even a lowly job, rather than depend on people. Rashi himself, all the sages they all had jobs. Very few of them were like Torah scholars all day, meaning that's how they got their money. Rashi is famously known for his wine. I don't know if it was good, but he was a winemaker. Who else? I mean, you got a lot of people. Obviously Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was an extremely savvy businessman and an unbelievable Torah scholar, the greatest, perhaps one of at least top 5. He financed the entire Mishnah himself, which means he supported hundreds of Torah scholars to compile the Mishnah and edited it and all these different things. Oh, I want to point out something very interesting. There's something in the Tilos Hashem, we say in our Siddur. It's a Yehi Ratzon. In the morning prayers, we did this. You guys know this already. Sorry. We did this on Thursday night, 2 nights ago. Schneer spoke about the prayer of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Okay, I just thought that was very fascinating. I don't want to repeat it now. I knew I heard it somewhere. Okay. Now, what happens if you're a guy who decides you fake it till you make it, but in a negative sense? Very bad things. You will, it says in the Talmud that a person who fakes having a handicap will indeed have that handicap at some point in his life. Sorry, I'm yelling because there's a lot of noise outside, but then it makes this thing very distorted. Okay, whoever has no need to take charity and deceives people and takes will die before actually needing charity. Anyone who needs to take charity and cannot survive unless he takes charity, for example, one who's old, sick, or suffering, but whose pride doesn't allow him to take charity, sheds his own blood and is liable for his own life, and all he has for his suffering are sins. So, false humility, basically, or don't let your pride get to the best of you. That's a different thing. Don't let your pride get to the best of you. Anyone who needs charity and inflicts himself with suffering and bides his time and lives a life of suffering in order not to burden the community will not die before acquiring the means to support others. And about him it says, blessed is the man who trusts in Hashem. Baruch HaGever asher yiftach b'Hashem. Okay, so you got to really assess, like the Hayom Yom says yesterday, really assess your character. Am I really make a real true assessment of yourself? Am I really somebody who needs this, or am I just taking the easy way out? And you got to be really careful about that. You got to make sure if you do need it, you take it, and if you don't need it, you don't take it. The trick to, by the way, assessing one's character, the Rebbe would say, it's not just the Rebbe, it comes from the Torah, it comes from the Talmud, having somebody else tell you about your character. You can't have a true, honest assessment of yourself. You can't assess your own character traits. You need a good friend that's really doing it in your best interest to tell you your milas and your chesarons, your good qualities and those things that you need to work on. Just a little bit of a factoid. Okay, now we're going to get into the laws of Shabbos. The laws of baking challah. Now, a few things about challah. We'll do a little bit, and then I'll add some stuff. Okay, dough that is made from the 5 grains. Anybody know the 5 grains off the top of their head? Well, you're going to know it now. Wheat, barley, spelt, rye, and oats. Wheat, rye, barley, spelt, and oats. Requires the separation of challah. Before separating challah, the following bracha is said: Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvayso v'tzivanu lahafrish challah. Yeah, you take it, and then we say in English, "This is challah." Yeah, I see my kids and my wife do it almost every Friday. This is challah. A kazayas of dough. A kazayas is basically 1.5 ounces. Its volume, about 1.5 ounces of dough, is then taken and burned in fire. The custom is to burn it in the oven in which the bread will be baked. Then what do you do with the? Yeah. So what would used to happen? We would give challah to the. It's a form of truma. It's a form of separation. It's holy, and we would give it to the kohen. Nowadays we don't do that because a kohen can't have it because he's tamei. Every kohen is spiritually impure. He's tamei mace. So what do? We burn it. We burn it, and then we throw it away. I don't know if we keep it and we put it in the. Maybe we throw it during Pesach.
Question.
Yeah.
I think we do it during Pesach. Now,
yeah.
I get my challah frozen from Publix because it's kosher, and I get it frozen and I prepare it in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We were told, I looked into it, we were told that we didn't have to separate because they do that.
Yeah, that's correct. So, first of all,
okay.
The fact that you said Publix gives away that you live in Florida. Very nice. You don't have to, they do it for you. A kosher bakery will separate challah for you. Exactly. Very good. This is when you're baking, and we're going to say about how much, it's when you start the process of baking bread, which is about 3.5 pounds. Most times when we bake challah, by the way, they come in 5-pound bags and 6-pound bags. So for sure you're going to make challah, but the minimum accepted measure is about 3 pounds. So if you're going to make bread with 3 pounds of flour, you're going to have to separate challah. So what happens? Yeah, you bake challah, you put in water and flour, you knead, you dough, take a bread, you put a trash can over it, whatever. There's like a whole long process. It's very annoying. I usually leave the house when my wife is doing it, so she's going to ask me to help her. And then I come back, and then right before she's going to put it into the oven, she's going to separate everything. She takes a little piece from the entire amount, which we're going to get into detail, a little bit more detail about what's considered one container, one amount. She takes a little piece. This is challah, or zu challah, zeis challah, whatever. She puts it into aluminum foil, puts it in the oven that she's going to bake the challah in, and burns it. And then she puts it in our freezer, I guess, until Pesach. I don't know. I don't exactly know.
Does it not smell up the house?
The smell of delicious bread being made by my wife. If that's what you mean.
No, like the burnt, like, because burnt toast is a very
pungent, it does. It doesn't burn that much. I don't know exactly. It's not like it takes. It's very small, by the way. A little piece of challah. It's very small. It's like the size of. It's less than the size of my palm. It burns very quickly, and it's inside aluminum foil. I don't think she waits for it to like turn black. It's just almost unedible. That's the idea. Nobody should mistake it and eat it themselves. This idea of truma, by the way, in Israel, there's a big question as to whether we should be taking truma from the vegetables. Truma only, the vegetables in Israel. The truma of vegetables and fruits are only in the land of Israel. Same with orla and all these other things. Yeah, these different types of trumas. Challah is anywhere you are in the world. Challah, you had to do it anywhere in the world. Truma, fruits and vegetables is only in the land of Israel. Now, if you buy fruits and vegetables in Israel, you have to have a hechsher. Very important that there's a kosher certification. I know us Americans and non-Israelis, it sounds crazy, but like you can't just go to a shuk, you can't just go to the market and buy whatever fruits and vegetables you want. A lot of problems can come up. Now, if there's a big question as to whether truma needs to be taken from fruits and vegetables. So, in yeshiva, there were some that hold that they did and some that hold that they don't have to take truma. But those that did say you have to take truma means a portion. Yeah, the portion that would a portion that would normally be given to a kohen or a levi sometimes. They snip it off. So they have an apple, they cut off a piece of the apple and they throw it in the garbage. Because you have to let it become, you can't be given, we don't burn it, we make it inedible. So by just putting it in the garbage. I don't do that, but you'll see a lot of people do that, even within Chabad, people that do, people that don't. Just a little something about truma. Okay. What is the minimum amount? But it's very important. Like I see fruits now in the supermarket from Israel, like in a regular supermarket, oranges, because we just got over a Shemitah year. I don't, if there's no hechsher on, I don't buy it. Because I don't know if it might be from an Israeli that didn't keep Shemitah. Yeah, I didn't let the land lay fallow. And therefore it's a big problem for us to eat it. So I wait a little bit of time, unless there's a hechsher. But most of our fruits and vegetables come from other places than Israel anyway. Okay. What's the minimum? Yeah. What?
Is Shemitah, is that the only issue with regard to vegetables?
No. What are other problems of fruits and vegetables? In terms of why does it need a hechsher? Well, first of all, if it's a fruit or vegetable that's found normally to have bugs in it. By the way, there's a lot of things that are normally to have bugs in it. And each fruit and vegetable, you only have to check fruits and vegetables for bugs that the fruit or vegetable normally has bugs in it. That's some things that you got to keep in mind. So romaine lettuce tends to have, or not romaine. Yeah, romaine tends to have bugs in it and the creases and everything like that. But like an apple tends to not have bugs. You don't have to go checking through an apple. A strawberry does tend to have bugs, at least here in America. It also depends where the strawberries come from. You also have to see where do they come from. They each have their own way of doing it. My wife has a whole way of doing it. I don't eat strawberries anyway. I don't really care. Don't ask me how to do it. What's another reason? I'm forgetting another reason why. There's
Rabbi,
yeah.
Question for you. Okay, so we can buy vegetables. We got to be careful where they come. But any vegetables that's bagged should be kosher certified, correct?
Any vegetables in a bag should be kosher certified. I don't know if that's across the board with any vegetable, because you can assume there are websites. For example, we buy cauliflower in a bag from Trader Joe's, because I think somebody looked up, either Rabbi Silberberg himself or one of the company where it comes from has a knife that's exclusive for cauliflower, and they don't really cut it. They don't clean it in any other utensil. It's like a known thing. So I don't know if everything needs.
Well, the ones that, like you said, the ones that you know that can contain bugs and do contain bugs. Like,
yes, yeah, of
right,
course.
Like lettuce, arugula.
Yeah,
those type of vegetables in a bag should be.
Yeah, and there's a specific way of checking. You don't have to check every single one, because you can rely on what's called a chazaka. Yeah, so if you check, Rabbi Silverberg knows. He once told my wife all the different ones. I don't know. I believe it's whatever. There's 3. Each vegetable has its own thing, but for the most part, let's just stick with lettuce, arugula. I think you only have to check 3 with a specific method, and then you can understand, and then you can presume that the rest of the bag has no bugs in it, according to a chazaka. However, I will say, one time we bought a bag of lettuce from Trader Joe's, and there was a grasshopper in there, which was, when we brought it back, they seemed like it was totally normal. It happens all the time. Very interesting. Maybe it was one of the kosher grasshoppers, but fish heads, by the way, we don't eat fish heads, because they're known to have worms in it. Just in case you like fish heads.
So besides the Chadash and Yashar issue, like these
Yashar?
other issues of the bugs, these other issues.
Yeah.
What?
Well, okay, so Chadash and Yashan, okay, that's with regards to dough. I mean, with regards to flour. Okay, we're actually not so careful with Chadash and Yashan, whatever.
But that's in Eretz Yisrael. But like the other issues, like bugs and everything, like by that reasoning, like shouldn't we also
check it ourselves? No, there's something else about fruits. So with regards to fruits, did it come from an orla tree or not? Did it come from a tree that's only been growing for 3 years? Is it a tree that was grafted? It's mainly with fruits. Is it from a tree that perhaps was grafted in a non-kosher way, right? Because we can't have the word in Hebrew.
But these things also apply stateside too. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, it doesn't apply to America.
Wait, really? Wait, how? Because they do that, right? Like, I'm sure companies will.
Yeah, we do it in America. A nectarine is not a nectarine in America. That's like what, an orange and what's a nectarine? Bella would know.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
not a problem because it's in America. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I understand now. I understand. So, like, these specific halachas apply to only Israeli.
Yes. Okay. Challah is not only exclusive to Israel. Yeah.
Except the bug thing. The bug thing is.
Yeah, the bug thing is across the board. Right. And Chadash and Yashan is not only Israel. Chadash and Yashan is America, is outside of Israel as well. But most Jews are not careful with Chadash and Yashan. I don't know. We're not. Chabad is like specifically not for whatever reason. I don't know.
You got it. Thank you.
I know why, because the Baal Shem Tov says not to be careful with it, but I don't exactly know why the Baal Shem Tov said not to be careful with it. We're also not careful with Zman Tefillah. You know, there's a time that you're supposed to daven Shachris by. Not Chatzos, that's midday. There's a time, it's like 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Chabad is not careful with that at all. I don't remember why. Okay, what's the minimum amount? We'll just do this last halacha over here. What's the minimum amount of dough from which you must separate challah? So if you buy challah in a store, you're fine. Just by the way, it's if you're making challah from scratch. What is the minimum amount of dough from which you must separate challah? An amount containing 5/4 of flour, which is equivalent to the displacement of 43 1/5 eggs. Okay, so here, according to most authorities, it's 2.5 pounds of flour. If you use 2.5 pounds of flour, however, you must make a bracha at 2.5 pounds of. At 2.5. There's a big, right? We don't know how much a kazayas is and a kabetza and all these different types of measurements. So there's varying opinions. The minimum amount they have to take challah from is 2.5 pounds. If you're baking with 2.5, specifically baking, we're gonna get into frying and all these different things separate later. But baking is 2.5 pounds of flour. If you use 2.5 pounds of flour, you have to separate challah. However, you don't make a bracha because we're not sure if that's really the proper measure. It's really until you get to 3 pounds. Once you get to 3 pounds, what does it say over here? 3 pounds and 10 ounces. Okay, 3 pounds and 10 ounces. Okay, so we'll just go according to this. 3 pounds and 10 ounces. If you anywhere from 2.5 pounds to 3.1 pounds, you separate challah. But you don't make a bracha. Anything above 3.3 pounds 10 ounces, you make a bracha. Okay, if you buy a 5-pound bag, just use the 5-pound bag of flour. Flour comes in basically 5-pound bags. That's what you should use. Sometimes 6 pounds. And then you make a bracha. All right. Okay, this is a long one. We'll stop here. Okay, tonight should be Rambam. Tomorrow should be Tanya, and I'll hopefully do the weekly roundup. I should just finish that up, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, anybody have any questions? Good. Great. All right, it's good to be back. I don't know if I was really gone, but it's good to be back. Okay, everybody. We'll see you later. Thanks for joining.
Thank you,
Thank
Rabbi.
you.
It was great
Yeah,
teaching. Really
Thank you.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Appreciate
okay. See you, Ted. Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
My shoot.
Shalom, shalom, my brother.
Good to see you, man. Peace.